After watching the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie, a stunning 2 hours masterpiece with peak animation and incredible visuals, I began to wonder how would the most famous swordman from the One Punch Man series fare if he replaced the Hashira and took on the demons alone. Since a lot of things has changed when it comes to the Demon Slayer scaling throughout these couples of years, would he still be able to solo, or would it be too much for him to handle? I also want a preference that would not be using Sunblade Atomic Samurai, since I feel like this just too much for the verse to compete with. But anyways, don't forget to slash the subscribe button and the notification bell for more of these types of videos. Thank you. Atomic Samurai is currently the number 3 S-Class hero, just behind Tatsumaki and Blast, considered to be the strongest swordman in the entire series according to the databook, which means without the Sunblade amp he still scales above the Swordmaster Council members, and that includes Nichiren himself. He's also one of the few heroes you can count on to no-soul demons and tangle with dragon level monsters, was more than happy to participate in the Monster Association raid, and had no problem to face aliens unknown to the human species. He is simply just that confident in his abilities. Now, speaking of abilities, Atomic Samurai is a master swordman. He can cut almost anything with extreme precision. Heck, he can even cut monsters to multiple pieces using a toothpick. Although we're not really sure if he can replicate what Nichiren has done with the apple, but it's fairly known that he specializes in a technique where multiple concurring arching slashes close on the enemy from all sides. He calls this the Atomic Slash, hence his hero name Atomic Samurai. Now, there is a big misconception in the community regarding his Atomic Slash, where many people believe that Kamikaze can cut in atomic levels, which means he should be capable of negating durability. However, that's nowhere stated or shown throughout the series. His name and attack basically signifies the ability to perform multiple hits in an instant. That's pretty much it. But regardless of all these informations, how strong is Kamikaze? Now, after Garou takes multiple hits from Darkshine, including a tackle which is considered to be one of his best attacks, Blackluster concludes that Garou is lucky that he didn't fight one of 4 heroes and Kamikaze was included. This means Atomic Samurai is strong enough to compete with someone who can at least withstand Darkshine. Pay in mind that Darkshine is said to have the strength to defeat demon level monsters the level of the Deep Sea King with a light touch. Garou at that point was a dragon level threat, and most dragons should start from at least mountain level in terms of attack potency, which makes Atomic Samurai's striking strength operate on a similar frequency. This is further substantiated by Atomic Samurai later on harming one of Psycho Orochi's tentacles. So strictly speaking, Kamikaze's striking strength should at least start from mountain level, with many other arguments suggesting he should be much stronger. Now, when it comes to the speed department, I want to talk to you guys about something I've had in mind for a while but didn't have the chance to mention it, with regards to G4 and G5's lasers. Some people like to dispute the fact that these lasers are light speed just because they explode in contact and G4's lasers can bend. However, Genos himself used the fact that these lasers are composed of light to stop G4. He uses steam to diffuse the light. Even in Japanese, he doesn't say Reza, which is lasers, but rather says Hikari, which is light itself. So taking that in mind, Genos was shown to dodge them early on in season 2, and Atomic Samurai, while being completely casual, intercepts G4's lasers. This was calced at 4 times the speed of light. This actually rhymes with the fact that Fathers has been stated to have lightning speed attacks in the databook, and Awakened Cockroach claiming he can dodge at the speed of light. And with all of this being said, can Atomic Samurai succeed in raiding the Infinite Castle? Now, it should be obvious that the Infinity Castle arc didn't engulf most of the Upper Moon demons. Daki and Gyotaro were already dead. Gyoko and Hantegu got dealt with 2 arcs prior, and all lower moons were defeated in the first act of this series. The players of this arc are Muzan, Kokishibo, Doma, Akaza, Nakime, and Kaigaku, alongside what you can call a small army of lower demons. You see, what makes a demon formidable in this series is not just how strong and fast or how scaled and technical they are, but rather their their ability to regenerate no matter what and keep fighting without much worries about stamina and endurance. Multiple Hashira can indeed inflict fatal damages to even the top 3 upper moons, but it just doesn't matter since they can regenerate instantly. And conversely to the Hashira, where it's very contentious to figure out who's stronger than who, the upper moons are ranked based solely on their power. So upper moon 4 is stronger than 5 and 5 is stronger than 6, and you get the gist. Except for a special case of Kaigaku, since the guy still didn't get accustomed to his demon powers. But nonetheless, how strong are these guys exactly? You see, I've made 2 separate videos regarding the Demon Slayer verse, where I've talked about their scaling that was at that time universally accepted by the majority. But now things has drastically changed. This is all due to multiple feats and elements that weren't persuasive at that time but gradually started becoming more convincing. This specifically talks about the speed where it got elevated to a higher realm. You see, Mitsuri, the Hashira of love before she awakened her mark, was able to intercept and dodge multiple lightning strokes from the upper moon Zuhakuten, which was calculated at 2000 times the speed of sound. This feat right here would become the benchmark of speed, since not only is she significantly weaker than many Hashira, but should be magnitude inferior to specifically the 3 reigning upper moons. Pay in mind that she is at that level before she awakened her Demon Slayer mark that, according to the databook, unleashes extraordinary combat abilities. Now, the agreement in the community is that the Demon Slayer mark amplifies a Hashira's abilities by 10, which means that most of the Hashira and the upper moons should be within the 24,000 times the speed of sound, aka sub-relativistic. Now, Kaigaku and Nakime should be within these levels of speed, but Akaza, Doma, and Kokishibo can fight multiple Hashiras and even blitz some of them. They should be much faster than just 24,000 times the speed of sound. And Muzan, being weakened due to poison, can still fight and overwhelm multiple Hashiras. He should be at least approaching the speed of light. Now, when it comes to attack potency, the general scaling for this verse all gets derived from Gyotaro's destroying the Red Light District. Well, this was calculated based on the anime, extrapolating on the size of the destroyed district, resulting in energy relative to 29.3 kilotons of TNT, making it town level. You see, we know that Gyotaro is the weakest upper moon, fought against one low-level Hashira who didn't even has his demon mark. And since we know that the demon mark is at least a 10 times multiplier, you can then deduce that characters like Nakime should at least be large town level. The top 3 upper moons who were able to fight multiple stronger marked slayers and even overpowering them should get another 10 times multiplier, which makes them small city level. And Muzan, on the other hand, is obviously significantly stronger than everybody else. However, we do not know the exact multiplier, but if we generously say he's a one-shot tier above the strongest upper moons, then Muzan would be wielding force relative to 23 megatons of TNT, making him city level in terms of attack potency. This is literally the highest scaling the Demon Slayer verse can get, all due to accepting Gyotaro's anime calc rather than its manga's counterpart. Now, all the upper moons has some sort of specialty. Doma uses ice attacks, Kokishibo is a master swordman, Akaza is a great martial artist, Kaigaku is supposed to be a speedster, and Nakime is the one in charge of the Infinite Castle. And with all of this being said, can these demons stop the strongest swordman in the One Punch Man series? Now let's first reimagine the scenario, which is Atomic Samurai raiding the Infinity Castle entirely alone without the Hashira's intervention. Muzan is not forced into his regenerative cocoon since he never suffered poisoning or injury, meaning he and his upper moons are surely at full power from the start. Now when it comes to low-level demons, they're certainly completely irrelevant, since Atomic Samurai is accustomed to effortlessly eviscerating dozens of tiger-level threats in the One Punch Man series. He does it so efficiently that monsters are so thoroughly diced you can't recognize them anymore. You might not even discern the need for decapitation, as his attacks are inherently overkill. This brings us to Atomic Samurai versus the upper moons in a 1v1 scenario. You see, it's pretty obvious that these demons will pose no threat to the S-class heroes. If you go by the One Punch Man standards, even the most powerful upper moons would only rank as demon level threats, with destructive capabilities ranging from town to city level in terms of attack attack potency. This is certainly laughable compared to an S-class hero like Atomic Samurai, who regularly contends with city and mountain level dragons at the very least. His base speed and power are leagues beyond anything in the Demon Slayer universe. Now this isn't based purely on speculation, since we have precedents where he effortlessly low-diffed demons like G5 and Rhino Wrestler. G5 is a swordman robot that allegedly replicated his techniques, still got one-shotted by Kamikaze, which means any upper moon, including the top 3, Akaza, Doma, and Kokishibo, would be instantly annihilated in a one-on-one encounter. Their unique blood demon arts are meaningless against a speed gap so vast they could never have the chance to activate them. Alright, let's say all demons jump him at the same time. Would they still have a chance? Absolutely not. Atomic Samurai's area of effect attacks, like the Atomic Slash, is designed to engage multiple monsters simultaneously. There's just no amount of teamwork that would grant them a slim of a chance against Kamikaze. Akaza uses blue, silver, chaotic afterglow, he gets one-shotted by an Atomic Slash. Kokishibo releases his Crescent Moon Blades, he gets placed by an air slash attack. Doma creates the Water Lily Bodhisattva, it would still get completely destroyed. The point is, there's absolutely nothing they can do that would allow them to take this win. Although I want to say that Kamikaze would still need to defeat Nakime first so that the Infinite Castle collapses. He then would be able to barrage characters like Kokishibo, Akaza, and Muzan until the sunrise, since these are evolved demons that bypass decapitations. And speaking of Muzan, even when he's on a completely different realm compared to his subordinates, he is still a demon level monster by the standards of the One Punch Man series. He'd likely lose the same way to Kamikaze when the latter wouldn't even notice the difference in power between him and his upper moons, which means Kamikaze would be able to clear the Infinite Castle in less than an episode, let alone 3 parts of movies. Thank you so much for watching, and do consider joining the Discord server. Please take good care.